Most wedding pros are losing sales before they ever pitch a thing because they're skipping one question that determines everything in your sales process. What's your budget? I know because I skipped it too. I built one of the largest planning firms in Orlando, Florida, and for years I danced around the money talk, and it cost me so many booked clients. Now I've coached over 1,100 wedding business owners to fix their sales process, and this is one of the first mistakes that we correct. In this video, I'm going to show you why skipping the budget conversation literally kills trust, clarity, and conversions, and I'll walk you through exactly how to ask the question without sounding weird or pushy. Welcome to the Wedding Pro CEO YouTube channel, where we ditch the burnout and build profitable wedding businesses. If you're ready to stop getting ghosted and start closing 5-figure packages, hit that subscribe button and let's go. Let's just call it right out. You're skipping the budget conversation because it feels awkward. You don't want to sound greedy. You're afraid they'll say it's too expensive, and you'd rather wow them with your services and just hope the money part works out. But here's the truth. That's not strategy, that's fear. And fear has no place on the road to success. Here's what happens when you don't ask about budget. You pitch blind. You send a proposal and cross your fingers, but you get ghosted because they were expecting a $2,000 quote and instead yours came in at $7,800. And worst of all, you lose the chance to handle that objection, to educate them on why your price is what it is. Most couples don't know what things cost. They've never planned a wedding before. You have. So if you avoid the budget conversation, you can't lead them. And when you can't lead, you can't sell. So how do you do this without sounding salesy, without being pushy? So many business owners, this is like your biggest fear. And I totally get it because you don't want to seem desperate, right? Instead, what I want you to think about is you have the solution that they need, but in order to give them that solution, you have to understand all of it, the whole picture. You've asked a lot during your consult, hopefully, about what they love, what they're looking for, what they don't want to see at their wedding. But when we don't ask about the price, which is a major factor in their buying decision, it leaves a gaping hole that we can't pitch correctly because we genuinely have no idea if we're even playing in the same ball field. So here's exactly how I teach it to our students inside of Wedding Pro CEO. It's a 3-part script that works every single time and will help you to really be seen as the expert that's guiding them to a solution versus a pushy used car salesman. Step 1 is to just normalize it. Let's talk about budget for a second. I know it's not the fun part, but it helps me to make sure I'm pointing you in the right direction. 9 times out of 10, they're either going to tell you, we're not sure yet, right? Because they don't want to be the first ones to throw out a number. It's like step 1 of negotiating tactics. Or they're going to just make up a number and throw it out to see what you'll say. And that's where a lot of wedding pros get frustrated, right? When you say, have you thought about your budget yet? So you've taken that bold step to ask the question, and then they're like, oh, we're not really sure. And so you're like, okay, well, where do I go from here? They don't even have a budget, or they're not going to tell me. So now I just have to go into the blind pitch again with a proposal. But that's absolutely false. This is where step 2 comes in. If you're feeling like the economy is causing you to constantly get ghosted and need to consistently drop your prices just to get bookings, I have some news for you. It's not the economy, it's your sales strategy. And I'm here to help you fix it. I created a brand new free training where I'm going to share the exact strategy I use and I teach to thousands of wedding pros who have been able to double their wedding bookings in less than 30 days using this strategy. It's called the Assume Method, and if you're not using it, you're leaving thousands of dollars on the table. This isn't just another fluffy course. This is raw, actionable CEO level strategy. Whether you're new, struggling, or ready to hit your next 6 figures, this training will change the game for your business. But don't wait, because the top 1% of wedding pros aren't just good at their craft, they're good at running their business. And if you're ready to join them, I'll see you in the training. Step 2 is to ask for the whole picture. You're the photographer, and they've said, we're not really sure what our budget is for photography. So you can instead say, I totally get it. It can be really difficult to figure out how much you should spend on each vendor, right? There's so much information out there, but I really would love to help you to figure out what would be the right budget for you. So have you thought about what your overall budget for the wedding is? Do you know how much you're spending overall? And if they still say, we're not sure, I would say, okay, well, let's talk it out a little bit. I want to lead them. I want to educate them. So this is where I'm going to start digging in. Again, let's go with this photographer example. I'm going to say, so based on everything you've told me, I really feel like it's going to be best for you to have at least 8 hours of coverage. And because there's a gap between your ceremony and your reception, I actually think we could possibly add a ninth, but that could be optional. So with the 8 hours of coverage, you're at 2 different venues. We would definitely have a second photographer with us as well. I think that we talked about an engagement session. You definitely want an engagement session. Okay, so we'll add that in as well. So typically for a service like this, our pricing is going to be about $7,800. Typically for a package like this, based on your timeline for your day and what I'm suggesting, I think our 8-hour service would be perfect. And if we get down the line and we see that you need that 9th hour, we can always look at that then. But our 8-hour service includes the engagement session. It also includes a small highlight album for you. And that package is $7,800. How does that feel for you? Now, instead of you asking them to give you just some random number, you're leading them there. And this is the piece that so many wedding pros miss. I literally watch and audit so many sales calls from our members. And this is probably the number one feedback that I give is that when you ask the budget question, I'm so proud of you for finally asking it. When they said, I don't know, you let it go. And that did 2 terrible things for you. 1, it made you not be able to pitch. And 2, it made it so when you go to send that proposal, you have no idea whether it's coming back or not. And that's a really stinky place to be. Instead, if you would have turned the table and said, okay, totally, no problem. Instead, why don't we work backwards from what you've told me? And I will tell you what I think you need for your wedding day. And then I'm going to pitch a price to you based on that, because now you are seeing me as an expert because I've been able to tell you this is what you're going to need based on everything you've told me. Here's why it's important. And then if I pitch the price out, let's say I say $7,800 and they're like, oh my gosh, now they're going to tell you the truth. They're either going to say, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Yes, I love it. Like, let's sign on the dotted line because their budget was $8,000 and you came in right under. You didn't know that because they didn't tell you, but you led them there. Or they're going to tell you, this all sounds perfect. Like, yes, all of that. We want all of that. But honestly, our budget was only $6,000. We love your work. So we'd probably be able to get like $7,000, but there's no way we can get to $7,800, especially without the 9th hour. Now you have the opportunity to talk through what that could look like and handle that objection. You have the ability to either 1, take something out of the package and explain how that could work to get them to the $7,000. Or you could say, I totally get it. Like, I know it can be tough, right? So what I could do is I can't come down on the price, but if you're willing to go ahead and sign your contract today, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and throw in the 9th hour for you as a bonus. And that way, yes, I know it's slightly over your budget, but you're getting every single thing that you're going to need on that day so we can tell your full story. How does that feel? They're likely going to find the money if that's the case. And honestly, even if they don't, if they say, it's just out of our budget, at least you know now. And you could say, okay, I totally get it. If anything changes in your budget, let me know. The other option, especially for a photographer, is being able to walk them through what it could look like for you not to stay until the end. A lot of couples think that have to stay until the end. We have to get the photographer till the end. But the reality is a lot of times people are not doing a grand exit, or even if they are, they may not care that much about it. I get it. If you're doing this big sparkler exit, most of the time you want that covered. But the reality is if you could shave 2 hours off of your photography time by having your photographer leave only about 30 minutes into dancing, it's such a smart way to save money because there's only so many pictures that a photographer wants to take of your drunken guests, right? Like, can I get an amen for this, right? So all the photographers are like, yes, please do not keep me all the way through dancing. Again, though, those are all conversations you can have once you can get to the price. And the only way to get to that price is by you leading the conversation. So don't stop at, we're not sure what our budget is. Don't stop there. Lead them to a number. Push. Get to the end and handle the objections. And step 3, of course, is once you handle those objections to say, you guys, I cannot wait to work with you. Here's what the next steps look like to book our service. No pressure, no salesy pitch, just data. And with that data, now you know how to position your service, how to guide their expectations, and how to close. This is how 5-figure clients are booked, not with fancy brochures or with 100 DMs, but with clarity, with leadership, and with confidence. Talking about money doesn't make you salesy. It makes you a pro. It makes you a CEO who is scaling their business. If you're done losing sales because you're scared to ask the hard questions, let's fix your sales process together. Did you know that my team offers free gap assessments for wedding business owners? Our business consultants have audited hundreds of wedding businesses to help them understand where they're leaking money and exactly what they need to do next to double their revenue. If you're interested in having my team's eyes on your business, head over to weddingproceo.com/application or click the link in the description and grab a time that works for you so that we can get started on scaling your business. And hey, CEO, one last thing. If you got anything from this episode, or honestly from any of the episodes on our channel, take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us to grow this channel so more wedding business owners can get the strategy that we drop every single week. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Wait, yeah. Let's give it a shot. If you see me looking over here, that's where I think you guys are, because I see myself over here, but really you're right here. Welcome to the Wedding Pro CEO YouTube channel. Welcome to the Wedding Pro CEO YouTube channel Welcome to the Wedding Pro CEO YouTube channel.